Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 16 of Live with CDP Sports Talk on this Monday, January 16th, 2023. Not 2022, 2023. And I'm looking forward to my guest today, Bekka Allick, middle blocker, volleyball player with the University of Nebraska as well. Before we bring Bekka on, just want to let everybody know that Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme, aka CDP, sent you as well. And also, guys, you can now pre-order the all-electric Cadillac Lyrics or Silverados as well. And again, I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph for sponsoring Live with CDP Sports Talk today. I hope everybody's doing well today, and I'm looking forward to my guest. Her name is Bekka Allick. She's a freshman middle blocker with the NCAA's Nebraska Cornhuskers women's volleyball team. And last year, she was the winner of the Gatorade Volleyball Player of the Year award as well. So I'm looking forward to her to speaking about volleyball and her career and being at the University of Nebraska. Good morning, Bekka. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Chris?
Good. How's the weather in your part of the world?
It's actually pretty nice this morning. It's a little rainy and cloudy, but it's, I'll take that over being freezing.
Do you guys get a lot of snow in Nebraska or no?
It's so random when we do. Sometimes it'll be nothing, and then all of a sudden we'll get it for like solid inches just for weeks. And so as of right now, no. We used to have bad winters here, but now it's like we get a little bit of snow, and then within a few days it's gone. But I'm not far from Buffalo. Buffalo gets a lot of snow, but they get a lot of snow, but then they lose a lot of it in a week as well. Yeah.
But hey, I was going to say thank you so much again for coming on today, and look forward to speaking to you about your volleyball career and your first year with, I believe it was your first year with Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
How was that experience?
Honestly, it was a huge growing experience and a mixture of everything I wanted it to be. It was challenging at many moments. It was super fun. It was unreal. There was many times where I was having to take it in during practice. I'm like, wow, I'm really practicing in the gym I've always been waiting to actually go into. So, yeah, it was awesome.
And I was reading up that you won the Gatorade Volleyball Player of the Year last year as well. What was that like to win that award?
Oh, man, it was so cool. I felt so cool. Yeah, it's a huge honor just to be among – like Jordan Larson got it, and just so many greats out of Nebraska got it, and so just to be among that list, I feel really honored.
Did you get into volleyball when you were really young, or was this just when you were in high school? I think you went to Waverly High School.
Yes, I did. So I actually went to two high schools because I moved my sophomore summer to Waverly, but I originally went to Lincoln North Star. But my mom wanted the smaller school district, so we just packed up and moved on to Waverly, and it worked great for us. But with my volleyball career, I started when I was about 7. I went to a volleyball camp at VCN, and I went going back ever since. And yeah, year after year, I just kept showing up at camps, and then I started making teams, and then yeah.
Now, I noticed you wore number 5. Have you always wore that number 5? Is there a story behind number 5?
I have a theory that it wasn't always on purpose, but I usually either have a number with 5 or 3 sometimes together. And I'm also the 5th kid in my family. So when I heard that 5 was still available, I thought it would be really cool because you typically don't see like a middle blocker, which is considered big in the sport of volleyball, with the small number. And I always thought small numbers were super cool. And like I said, 5th kid in my family. And so I thought it could give me like that, like cool little edge.
Number 5. Now, can you explain to me and my audience a little bit about your position in volleyball, middle blocker?
Yes. Okay, so the middle blocker, we're basically stationed at middle, like center of the net, front row. And our main job is just to go back and forth, outside to outside, just trying to get touches on the block, if not stuff it. And sometimes we can act as a decoy. Originally, the middles in the sport of volleyball weren't set very much. But as the game started to evolve, people were trying to figure out ways to obviously score on each other. And so the middle attack became more prominent, as you see in like today's modern volleyball. And yeah, so our main job though is blocking, which is why we're called middle blockers.
Now, have you played other positions too, or is middle blocker your main position?
I'd like to think that being a middle blocker is my bread and butter, but I have played everywhere else. I've been outside for high school. I've been an opposite for a couple of club teams. There was one season where by the set, so in I don't know if you know, but like in the game of volleyball, there's 5 sets typically. And then in club volleyball, there's only 3 just for time. And set by set, my coach would put me in a different position. So I could start as a middle. By second set, I was an opposite. And then by third set, I'd be back to a middle. So yes, I've played everywhere.
Now, to win a set, is it 21 points, I believe?
That's beach. So with indoor, it's to 25.
25. Okay. I did not know that. Now I do know that. 25. Wow. Okay. Good to know that. And your first season in Nebraska under John Cook, you guys went 26-6 overall, 16-4 in the conference, and 10-2 on the road. What were your thoughts on the season overall with Nebraska?
I mean, it was great. I think I've been thinking about this a lot because I have been asked, by friends, family, big fans of the team about, congratulating us on a great season. And all I could think about was postseason, just the way we finished, which isn't the way we wanted to. But, when you start listing all of those stats about how we did and conference and things, like I forget that we did a great job. We still made some noise in, during regular season, preseason, and a little bit of postseason. So, yeah, I mean, I think we gave it our best shot.
And you played one of my favorite schools. I'm a big Michigan Wolverines fan because I have cousins that live in Michigan. So Michigan's my school, but I do like Nebraska as well. And how was it playing like at schools like Michigan this year as a first year?
Michigan specifically, though, was actually a really fun school to play at. Their arena is set up like with a very narrow stand, so it really feels like the fans are on top of you. And their sound system's insane. I remember that. So I was actually out of that game because I was sick and I just wasn't feeling very well. And then I don't know, that was like the first time I really got to take in like what it was like just being on the sidelines and watching the team, but also being on the court. And I don't know, Michigan, they got into it. When the score started to get tight, the fans were starting to wake up. And so, yeah, it was a really fun environment. But overall, playing at a lot of away schools, everyone wants to beat us. Every year we're a different team, but we still will always represent Nebraska, and that's just a school people want to beat. So, I mean, it's intense. When they start to beat us, Purdue's a really fun environment. Yeah, no school likes to just roll over when we show up in town. So,
was there one arena that was kind of more difficult to play at? Like there was one that you weren't too crazy about?
Wisconsin's, they will always be a difficult place to play in. I think regardless of how the team finishes that season, regardless of who's on their team, if it is Wisconsin on the other side of the net and we're in their home gym, they're going to make it hard for us. Their fans are also really dedicated. So I just remember like every point Wisconsin won, it felt like it was match point. So yeah, they're pretty fun, tough environment to play in. I've heard Penn State's pretty hard. They also have a situation where like the serve, if you go back to serve, and especially if you take a lot of steps, you can go back farther. Like you might be right up against the student section, and I've heard they get pretty crazy. So I'll be finding out next season about that.
Which school was your most difficult opponent this year, in your opinion?
Oh man, I think just to call the elephant in the room, like obviously Wisconsin, we hadn't beaten them at all this season, or this last season. And I think it was just like a mixture of, bad blood from the national championship last season, or the season before that, and just a mixture of their environment, and they're also just a really talented team. So they'll always be tough to play against. Penn State, even though we did beat them, they were also very difficult because in the beginning, like they punch hard, and if you don't respond well and adapt well, they're gonna get you. I'm trying to think, and I think honestly, Oregon. Like I think with Oregon, they must have just scouted well, and they're also just super talented. Like they're just really scrappy. So the scrappier the team, the harder and honestly more fun it is to play. So I'd have to say Wisconsin, and Penn State was pretty fun as well.
Did you guys play Ohio State too?
Oh, Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State's tough. I remember they were like our first game at the beginning of being in conference. And I just thought every game was going to be like that afterwards. I didn't realize like some teams we could sweep or not. And so when it went 5 sets and it was just this emotional drag, oh man, yeah, Ohio State's tough. Yeah, they're really tough.
Tough. Hey, I got to ask you this as well. Obviously you guys probably did bus rides. What was your longest bus trip going on the road?
I'm going to be really honest with you. I think it was honestly our preseason match because we have the privilege of being able to charter plane to a lot of places. So we'll mostly, like our bus rides will probably be from the airport to the place, and that will maybe max be an hour. But our longest bus ride was probably preseason going out to Grand Island, which was like 2.5 hours.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, no, we are very, very blessed.
How do you like flying? I've never even been on an airplane yet, to be honest with you.
Oh, no.
So how do you like flying?
Personally, I'm fine. If I have a good book, I have some headphones, like I'll be fine. But there is a couple times with being on the charter plane, you will feel a lot more of the turbulence, and especially going up if it's like in a really cloudy area. I remember there was this one time where we felt a drop, and everybody in the plane just grips the seats, like the little armrests. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pretty scared that time. So, and that's only happened like 3 times in all my days of flying, and I can say I've flown a lot just for volleyball, and so. Yeah, I feel like if you were a first-time flyer and you experienced that would probably be enough for you to never do it again. But those don't happen very often.
Now, being in the I believe you're in the Big Ten Conference. How many games is there, and when does the season start for your volleyball?
Oh, man. I know it's sometimes we can have what seems like 3 games a week just because if we play like Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday, so that can seem like 3 games a week. Oh, man. I would have to count it up. I want to guess like the mid-20s for conference games. And then what was the other part of your question?
I was just asking how many regular season games, and then you had an NCAA tournament as well. I guess you guys played Delaware State, Kansas, and Oregon. I guess that was December. So the season starts, when does it start normally? August, September, and go right to before Christmas?
Yeah, so like actual volleyball season starts in August, and that's when preseason starts, and we do that for about 3 weeks, I believe, max. And then we get right into regular season. So volleyball indoor season in general starts in August, and I believe we start conference in September.
Do you already miss it?
I do. I'm not gonna lie. When I came back to campus, and so I'm training right now. I'm weightlifting. I'm hitting the sand pit. I forgot we had a beach season, so I was like fully prepared to come back and just start training for indoor. I was like, we're gonna fix this. Like we're gonna get it right this time. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I have it almost a whole year until I get it back, or not a whole year, but you know what I mean. Like it's just, yeah. So I do miss it.
Do you still keep in touch with your head coach, John Cook, and the coaching staff during the off season as well?
Oh yeah, they're like family. Oh yeah, big time. I just went to this cool Catholic conference up in St. Louis, and our director of operations, Lindsay Peterson, or we call her Wish on the team. She's also Catholic, and I was able to talk to her about those things. So we're able to like not talk about volleyball, which is very huge for me.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm just going to get into some questions. Can you tell my audience here in Ontario, just outside of Toronto, just a little bit about yourself? And did you have a mentor when you were in high school and now at Nebraska?
If I had a mentor, okay, so a little bit about myself. I'll start with the basics. So I was born in San Antonio, Texas, and I moved back and forth between San Antonio, Texas, and this little place called Essex, Iowa, where it's practically disappearing off the map. There's not many folks left in the town. And then my mom had met my stepdad, and we moved to Lincoln, and that's where I heard about Husker volleyball, and that was just the beginning of what I am now. And actually, basketball was my first passion. I don't think a lot of people know that. It's also rumored that I was better at basketball than I was volleyball, or am at volleyball. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. What are some other fun facts about myself? It's always kind of hard talking about yourself. You always kind of go through the same things.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, that's all I can really think of. Oh, I've got 5 siblings, and I am a twin. Me and my twin look nothing alike whatsoever. She is like 5'9". Oh, that's like her rough estimate, 5'9", and she's got this long hair, super pretty. So, yeah.
And you're what, 6'3", 6'4", I was reading?
Yes, 6'3", 6'4". It's really changes by the day. Sometimes I'm barely even 6'2". So, yeah, I don't actually know what my true height is. I get told something different every time I go in to measure.
Does your twin sister play volleyball too?
She does. She plays at Missouri Southern State University. It's in Joplin, Missouri. It's a really cool program, and she's loving it out there. So, yeah.
So, being siblings, who's the better volleyball player in the family?
Oh, I don't like to do that stuff. Because there's so many things that, yes, I excel at, but that girl's defense is
really good.
Man, yeah. Because she's, obviously a lot shorter than me, but in that she's also like, she'd always beat me in sprints, but I'd beat her in distance. We would always be toe-to-toe, tit for tat. Like, it was, she has her strength, I have my weaknesses, and it was always an even trade-off. So.
Now, when you played basketball, what was your position?
I was a center. I wanted to be a point guard so bad. But yes, I was a center, sometimes a small forward. Never was a shooting guard. Not disappointed about that. But I did have the passion of being a point guard.
I played 1 year of high school basketball here way back in the 80s, and I was kind of a point guard. I came off the bench. I was basically a 3-point specialist, but unfortunately being 5'7", not going to have much of a career in basketball, but I liked my 1 year of playing high school basketball, and I still love the game and stuff like that. Now, speaking of basketball, do you have a favorite team and a favorite player in the NBA?
In the NBA, I like Giannis from the Bucks, but a favorite team, I would probably just say the Spurs. Like, that one just feels more like it's tradition for me to like it, because my dad's side of the family loves the San Antonio Spurs. My grandma Allick goes crazy when it comes to that stuff. She's got all of like this merch. I remember going to the Austin Spurs. It's like the little intermediate team before they decide who makes it, and she has like this Mary Poppins bag of just San Antonio merch. So it's like clappers, banners, pom-poms, all of those things. So, yeah, I would have to say the Spurs just because that's kind of the team I grew up with. But my favorite player is Giannis.
Yeah, he's a great player, and I hear he's a really good person off the court as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge reason why I like him.
Any other sports that you like to play or follow?
I actually really enjoy playing soccer a lot. I played a ton during recess in middle school. I don't have a favorite team, though. I enjoyed watching the World Cup when I'd see it on TV, but it wasn't something I would like flick on the TV, Oh, I love watching gymnastics and wrestling. My half brother, he's practically, but yeah, he's a brother, is a wrestler, and he's really good at it as well. And it's just one of those sports where it's like, I could never do that. So it's fun to watch others do, because it's just like, I couldn't imagine the training they go through. to one, be in that shape, and then two, they're like, I think, 1.5 minute periods, and it just seems intense. Just, oh man. And they, you see these guys come off the mat and they're just exhausted. So I like gymnastics and wrestling. Yeah.
Now, did you have a mentor when you were in high school and now in your first year at Nebraska?
I do. So one of my favorite mentors I've ever had, his name's Dan Mater, and I would go to him asking him just about everything. Life issues when it comes to like picking and choosing your friends. Like honestly, just how to be a better person, how to keep things simple. Like I wanted to emulate how this man moved and just how he thought. I loved having conversations. We would be sitting in between matches because our team was off during volleyball tournaments, and I would just pick his brain, and it was just super fun. And he's someone that I will always respect, and yeah. So he coached me from when I was about 13 to 18 or 17, because I graduated early. And yeah, I really enjoyed playing for him and just learning. And then now at Nebraska, I'd say my mentor was honestly upperclassmen. I remember one time I was having breakfast in the cafeteria that we have for athletes, and I was having this conversation just about life with Kendall Coley, who's on the women's basketball team, and Garrett Nelson. They were sitting across the table from me, and we were just talking about life. And I'm like confiding in these people about like just advice and like just how to go about stuff. And I'm like, these are the kind of people I confide in. I just thought it was funny because they're like polar opposites. And I think they both kind of emulate kind of like what I am but yeah, I'd say that I confide in a lot of my mentors are upperclassmen.
Now at Nebraska, how supportive are the other teams and athletes of the volleyball team? Are they very supportive of all the school teams there?
I say so. Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that show up, but honestly, it's really hard to say. And forgive me if this comes off like bratty, but like we sell out the stadium, and so it's hard to see like which of your friends are there unless like I get a text message from my friend Savannah, who's on the gymnastics team. She's like, "Hey, I'm coming to your match today. Can't wait to see you." And then I always like to try and say hi, but you got a sea of red, and so it's hard to tell like which ones are friends and which ones are fans. And so, yeah, I mean, we have a lot of track people I know that show out. Yeah.
Now, on a game day, how many hours before a game day do you have to be there at the arena to get set and prepared and all that like that behind the scenes before a game?
Got you. Okay, so it's I want to say it's like 4 hours. So if we play at 2, if we play at 7, then we're going to eat, or we're going to train at 1 or noon. Like 1 or noon, we'll do a serve and pass, and then we're going to eat at 2. So then we have eaten like 4 hours before the match or so. No, so then if we play at 6. And then we go through, what is it? We'll get like a lot of off time to go home, get rested, and then we'll start. Then you basically need a report. If you play at 7, you need to be dressed and ready by 6:05. So we have the ready room. So we have our actual locker room, and then connected to that is like our little lounge room where we'll have like snacks, the TV, and like we have this couch set up. It's like a semicircle where we'll all sit, and then coach will walk in, give us a pep talk, remind us of the plan, and then also like where a mental headspace should be. So he likes to keep it like short and sweet. So sometimes I'll be like, we're on the hunt tonight. So like he likes to get straight to the point. And yeah, so I'd say like dressed and ready by 6:05, and then like hour increments before you're either eating or sleeping or getting coffee. Yeah.
I almost forgot to ask you this, but what is the roster size for an NCAA team on the volleyball team? The roster size?
Oh, like on average?
Yeah, like how many people? How many players on a team?
So on our team, there's 14.
14, okay. And then how many can go on court? And then how many are on the bench, I guess, to start?
So there's only 6 that are able to be on the court, which would just leave the rest on the bench.
Okay, and how does substitutions work in volleyball?
You can pretty much sub at any time, obviously not during live play. But once a play ends, you can make a substitution at any point. Like there's no dead ball or anything like that. Like there is in basketball.
Okay. Are you still good for a few more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. This one I had to ask you as well. What was it like being named the Gatorade Nebraska Volleyball Player of the Year last year? And how did you find out? And what was it like to get that prestigious award?
I think it's really hard to put else into other words, but like it was, it made me feel like I was on top of the world, like as if it honestly just kind of was one of those things where, I was already moving on to college, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta get into work. I gotta go to weights. I want to, try and have a start. I want to try and be the serving middle, all those things. And like when I'm in that mindset, like I forgot to look back on my high school career and look at all that I accomplished. And being the Gatorade and Nebraska Volleyball Player of the Year kind of summed all of that up. Like it was able to show me that like it's not a bad thing every now and then to appreciate, what God blessed me with and like all of those successes and achievements. Like it's okay to look back and pat yourself on the back so you can keep moving forward. And so it was just nice that, to give myself that pat on the back and, just give back to the state that's taken such good care of me. Like I said, I wasn't originally born here, but I do consider myself raised a Nebraskan. And also, like I said earlier, it was actually Coach Cook that texted me after he found out that I got the award. He's like, "You're among the greats now. Like you're up there with Jordan Larson," and that felt really awesome hearing that from him. And yeah, it was just huge honor.
This leads to my next question I wanted to ask you. Thoughts on your time in high school, I guess at the end with Waverly High School. How much did the coaches there help you develop as a volleyball player and as a person?
Waverly, it humbled me. It taught me to appreciate the small things again, because I went from a school of, 500 people per class to like 200, barely 200 people per class. So it was a huge drop in just the number of people and like thoughts that I always had to impress. And then back at Waverly, it was just, people that were just kind of minding their own business, going about their days. Like, yeah, volleyball was cool, but like not everyone really cares about those things. They want to know about, how you treat others and stuff like that. And so it had me reflect more on the kind of person I was on and off the court, and that like, yes, my competitiveness is essential in the kind of volleyball player I am, but also sitting down and just listening to people. Like that was just one of the things that I learned about the team is just quality time. And another thing I have to thank is my head coach, Terry New Year's. Something that I completely underestimated was just how much, I swore a lot. I swore like a sailor. And that was one of her policies was every letter of the letter of a curse word, that's a suicide. And the whole program all the way down to freshmen. So freshmen to varsity, everybody's doing it. And it would either be like 30 seconds of just solid plank hold or, I don't know, just some stuff that burned. And, it made me a lot more conscious of the other people around me, all the way down to the freshman team. So I think it, really made me think about like my behavior and those things that they affect other people. So I have her to thank for that and everyone else for holding me accountable. And I can honestly say it's made me a lot into the woman I am right now.
And that leads to my next question as well. How much of an adjustment was it, Bekka, going from high school volleyball to the NCAA volleyball? And how long did it take you to adjust to it? Or did it just click for you naturally your first time with Nebraska?
I had the opportunity to go play at USA. And so the biggest difference from high school to college that anyone's going to tell you is just speed. Speed, power, all those things. The women, they get taller, they get stronger, they get faster. And I luckily had the opportunity to go play, and that helped me. Training amongst like other high-level athletes, some girls that already had a season of college volleyball already under their belt, that sped me up. And so that forced me to catch up, or else I just wasn't going to make the team, or I wasn't going to play. And so that helped me prepare for Nebraska, I think, just for practices, not even for competition, just to keep up in practice. And just the biggest difference is just speed.
Speed of the game. Okay. Is it okay if I show a quick clip of some of your work from one of your games this year?
Sure.
Okay, 1 second. It's like a 50-second clip I got off YouTube, but it just shows some of your work in that. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, just 1 second.
It's all about you got to pass that, kill the ball. All right, Maddie, up, down. Trust it.
But with the tip, Rodriguez with the up. The coverage there by Allick. On the slide, goes off the block, point Nebraska.
Great work there by Allick to get around and make herself eligible there and come around the backside.
Okay, good up down. Hold your hand, Maddie. Aim small, miss small. Good thumb.
Anyways, that clip was courtesy of Nebraska's YouTube channel. So, anyways, you still there? Yep. Okay, still
Yes.
there. Sometimes technical difficulties happen, but
gotcha.
normally with my guests, I like to show a little bit of their work to my audience as well. And can you just describe that video clip there against that team?
Man, my favorite thing about the whole play was my coverage. I'm not even kidding. There's nothing I love more than just defense, like gritty defense. So pat myself on the back for that one because I forgot about that play. But yeah, that was just the beginning. And I remember that. So that was actually our spring match. And that was when it, like, my nerves, all of those things. Like, so, there's a couple of plays where I just blacked out because it was a mixture of overwhelmed, but excitement and just nerves, just all of those things. And I just remember telling myself the whole time, like, don't get juked out. Don't get juked. Because the biggest thing about being a middle blocker is patience. You're just supposed to chase. So you sit still and you watch, and as soon as you know where the ball is going, you pounce on it. And so my biggest thing was proving to coach that I could handle the college speed of volleyball. And so my biggest thing is just stay calm, react. You might not get all these cool kills, but just make sure you do your job, which is being a middle blocker. And so that was where my mind at, was probably in that exact play. So when I got that coverage ball, I was like, yes. And then, the kill, obviously, that's great. But I think just when you're able to excel in, what you're mostly required of, like, that's awesome. Because everything else is just a bonus.
Now, overall, in your first year, what do you rate how you played the first year? What did you like about your game this year? And what would you like to improve upon for your second year with Nebraska next year?
I have to say that just looking back on this last season, you said, like, how I would rate it.
Yes.
I like to put things right on a scale. So I would honestly rate an 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 7 out of 10, because I felt that there were so many times where I could have rose to the occasion and all those things with just courage that I didn't take advantage of because I was scared of how it was going to end or if I was going to hurt the team and all those things. And so that's something that I'm going to be changing this upcoming season, is just going for it. Because, I've already faced the devastation of not going to where we wanted to be, which was Omaha this last season. And I felt, I think every one of us played a part in that. And in that, I think my part was I didn't play courageously. I didn't play brave. And so that was something that I think is why I rated a 7 out of 10. But also, I'm really proud of myself for sticking with it, because when you're at this high of a level and, I committed in 8th grade. And so there was a lot of expectations I put on myself and a mixture of others, but mostly myself. And I'm proud of myself for sticking with it, because I think there's a lot of opportunity where when I would just start to doubt myself, it's easy just to pout, to feel bad for yourself, just expect things handed to you because, you used to look a certain way, you used to move a certain way. And yeah, I just accepted that, like, I'm not where I want to be and I'm going to do something about it. And so I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And then moving forward, like I said, I'll be working on my mindset game. I'm going to be meeting with this incredible guy named Dr. Widman, and I'm super pumped for what that means for me in the future. And yeah, just improving my game physically, getting faster. My biggest thing is I want to be able to crush the slide. Like, that's another thing that coach really wants for me and what I want for myself. If that's how I'm supposed to help the team, then I got to figure that out. So yeah, just improving my attacking game mostly.
How's the roster look for next year? Is a lot of the girls going to be back, or the women going to be back next year, or is there going to be a bit of a turnover?
A huge turnover for sure. Kenzie and Maddie, and as you've seen, like Katie and all of them, they're all moving on. Kenzie's got a great job now, and Maddie and Katie are off playing professional ball, and Annika's transferring. So we have no seniors next season, and then we have 5 freshmen coming in, and as well as that one transfer, Merritt Beeson. And I'm just pumped because I think we just have a fresh slate. Every season we have a fresh slate, but I think it's going to hit a little different with how many freshmen are coming in and the kind of freshmen we have coming in. Like, these are some girls that can seriously take over the game, and they're incredible athletes, incredible women. And I think the level of competition is definitely going to raise. Like, everyone, I don't think anybody's spot's guaranteed whatsoever. Yes, we did well. You may have done well the last season, but I think next season it is a brand new day. It's a brand new game. It's a brand new team. And I'm super pumped for them to get here and to start working in the gym.
Are you looking forward to taking more of a leadership role on in your second year with the team?
Yes, I hope so. I think obviously a lot of things got to change just with like how we approach certain things, and I'll be more than happy to help lead that.
Do you think one day you could see yourself as a volleyball coach, getting into the coaching aspect when you're done playing?
Oh, for sure. I think it's gonna find me more than I'm gonna do it. So yeah, for sure.
Leads to this question right here. What were your overall thoughts on Nebraska's coaching staff this year and your teammates this past season? And was there a teammate or two that you really connected well with in your first year?
Yeah. The teammates that I connected really well with was Maggie Mendelson. I roomed with her, and I just felt like we bonded. You know, we were 2 of the tallest girls on the team, and that's something that any tall woman will bond over, is just, you know, being as tall as we are, because it's not considered normal. And just like, you know, our personalities, I think they mesh really well. And so that's someone that I got really close with. I think Allie Batenhorst. She's a really cool girl, and I think we got really close. And I anticipate me and Kennedy Orr are going to get a lot closer because we just moved into I just moved into the apartment with her, so I can see us getting close. And as for the coaching staff and my teammates, just this last season, I'm just grateful. I think that anybody that comes into my life or I into theirs, I think it's, you know, God did it for a reason. And yeah, I'm just super grateful, and I learned a lot from them. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what the future holds for all of us.
Okay. I just have a couple more questions for you, Bekka, and then I'll let you go. But this one I wanted to ask you as well, because I was reading up on it. Can you tell us about your volunteer work you've done in your community?
Yeah, I'm really big on helping out the homeless, you know, helping out those that have been trying to help themselves. And I think that that's what we're all called to do, is just serve one another. And I always like to go down to Matt Talbot. My stepdad actually was what got me into that, was serving at the soup kitchen. And they also take just any sort of donations, whether it's food, socks. Oh, I also like to help out at the city mission, just because, you know, they actually provide housing for the homeless. And so I like to, whatever random socks I have or clothes I don't want anymore, I like to give them there, because there are certain other like places like Goodwill, they'll mark it up too high. And so I think it's just better off just to give it straight to the city mission, just because they actually hand it out, and they'll give you it. Like just recently, there's a bunch of perfume bottles that I didn't use anymore, but I still had a lot left. And so I figured I just would give them to the city mission, and they'd be able to hand them out to the young girls or women. And so I did that. Just giving back, I think. Obviously, I'm very blessed, and I'm very well taken care of here at the university, being on scholarship and the program I play for. I will be very well taken care of these next few seasons as long as I continue to work hard. And the least I can do is just give back to those that don't have much. And so, yes, that's something that I really am.
Yeah, where I live, I've done volunteer work for 25 years. I did Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I was a Big Brother for a long time, and then I did the Humane Society here. And I like to give to the Salvation Army and the local food bank as well. And I like to help people that are less fortunate. And it's to me, it's very important to give back.
Yes, for sure.
This leads to my next question, and we'll wrap it up shortly. How important is education for being a student athlete, and how do you go about making sure you have enough time for your academics and doing your volleyball, your athletic part of it?
It's tricky. I'm not gonna lie, it is tricky, and there's certain days where you just don't want to do anything after practice. You want to eat, shower, go to bed. But part of the reason I'm here is for academics. Yes, a big part of it is athletics, but being a good student is what's going to keep me here at the end of the day. So I think finding something that I'm passionate about and am willing to study if I'm not, I know a lot of folks that just really don't like school. So find something that you're actually interested in, and you could find yourself to sit down and just read about it or do whatever assignments you need to do if you just need to continue to play athletics. So I guess just like the biggest thing is a planner, using a calendar on your phone, setting alarms. And then the other thing is just having to say no to a lot of social things. Like when I'm in season, I don't get to see my family as much. I don't get to see my friends. And so surrounding yourself with good people that are going to respect that whenever you're in season. And I think a big thing is just time management and being able to say no, because you're not going to be able to please everybody, and you got to take care of your mind, body, soul, all of those things. So, academics for sure is a little tricky as an athlete. And the other thing is, like, what's nice is school is kind of an escape. It reminds you that you're more than an athlete, you're more than your trade. And so using that brain and finding other ways to set yourself up for success in the long run outside of athletics.
What course of study are you taking right now at Nebraska?
I don't have a minor, but I am majoring in business administration.
How many years is that? 4 years, 5-year program?
I believe it's 4.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're already halfway through the first year. It'll go by quick, believe me. As soon as that first year goes by, time goes quick. So just try to enjoy it and soak it up, because just assumes when you're in college, university, and then when it's done, it goes by so fast.
No, that makes me sad.
So just try to soak it in every day, every week as you can, because like I said, with me, just time goes by so quick once you're out of college and university.
Yeah.
So now, before we wrap this up, before volleyball games, do you guys have music that you guys like to listen before a game to get you into the mood for the game?
Oh, yes, sir, we do. It's on the rough side. I'm not even gonna say a little. It's on the rough side. We like to listen to, or they really like to get into, what is it? My goodness, what is this place? So there's this one called Shots. I forgot who it's by. It's like shots. Do you know that song?
No, but
oh, dang it. Just super like crazy stuff, kind of like the house party music. Just all that crazy stuff we used to listen to. It came out like around 2013, 2015, or maybe even the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't think of the names at the moment.
No worries.
The one song, Get Out of Your Mind. I forgot who it's by, but the song Get Out of Your Mind. And it's the rap and the super intense and kind of vulgar lyrics. That's the one that always gets blasted before each match. And we all get up out of our chairs and just try and get crazy, regardless of how we're feeling, what kind of headspace you're in, just to try to get your body moving. So, yeah.
Now,
I'm sorry, I can't think of the names.
No worry. As a team, do you guys get introduced individually or just as a team?
Like when they call out us when we're on the end lines before the match?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they'll call us out. So preseason, I'm pretty sure they'll go through the whole roster and we all get to throw out a ball. But once we're in conference, I think it's just starters. No, I think postseason's just starters. And then when we're in conference, both starters and non-starters get to be called out, but only the starters get to throw a ball.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was that name of the band that you just said again? And I'll write it down. And I'll have to check them out.
Oh, man. Okay, so the song is Get Out of Your Mind.
Okay. I'll write that down. Get out.
And it's like right after those Get Out of Your Mind, it's the F word.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
very vulgar.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I'm into the 70s and 80s classic rock music, 70s and 80s.
See, I like that stuff too, because like I'm not really big in cursing, and so it's like, oh, you know, but you just kind of like pump the fist, like you guys got it.
Yes, I've been guilty in the past of cursing a bit too. So, hey, I was gonna wrap this up as well. Now, since you're in Nebraska, can you tell my audience here in Canada just a little bit about the state of Nebraska and why they should consider visiting the state for sightseeing and restaurants and stuff like that down there?
I think it's a good place if you're ever curious about the Midwest and just what us folks are about. I think Nebraska is a great place to visit. We make really great steaks up in Omaha. We're known for our Omaha steaks.
Love steaks.
And yes. They're so good. Omaha steaks. Misty's is really good. Any of our steakhouses, like our actual steakhouses, they're great. So highly recommend that. And we've got a few lakes. It's just a super simple life out here. The people are quiet. Super respectful. I hear it time and time again that, yeah, I just drove to Nebraska and everybody there was just super polite. Like, we don't go out of our ways to try and become best friends, but we understand just the simple things like respect and kindness. And, you know, we just want peace here. So I think it's a great place to just come and visit the Midwestern culture. Maybe check out a time when Husker football is playing, because the town just lights up with red noise and all these fun things, and all the sports bars go crazy, and it's just a super fun environment when Husker volleyball and football play, especially when you have football in the morning and then volleyball in the evening. That's absolute mayhem, but in a good way, of course. So yeah, just more for the people.
How big is the state population wise?
Oh man.
Or is that one of the smaller states?
I want to say like the whole state, like 2 million, 1.8, I think.
Okay.
It could be less. Yeah, it's definitely not more than that. But it's not a lot. We have a couple towns where there's only 40 people. So wow. we have a couple of those.
Yeah, where I live in Ontario, there's we call them provinces, which are like states, and we have about 10 million people here. So Canada's only got like I think 35 million people population, and Ontario's got 10 million. So Ontario's the biggest province in Canada by far.
Oh wow. Okay, actually, I might have lied. I think the population's way more, because I think Lincoln has about 1 million. Actually, I don't know. I am so sorry. I'm terrible at this stuff.
No worries. I'm learning something every day new, and you know what? If I ever did go back to school, I think I would even do better now than when I went to school, because I think because of my life experience, I would be even more focused in learning. So, and you know what? And that's why I love this industry, doing radio and doing TV side, is because there's something new every day. Nothing ever goes smoothly in media work, and I just love learning new things all the time, especially from my guests here on my podcast show as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and before I let you go, Bekka, where can my audience find you or follow you on social media if they wish to do so?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Bekka Allick. It's Bekka Allick, like basically my name on the screen, just no spaces. That's me on Instagram, Facebook. I think I have a 5 at the end of my username on Facebook. And those are my main platforms. And the same thing, 5 at the end of my name on Twitter. Those are the ones I'm pretty active on. I'm pretty active on Instagram most of all. So yeah,
definitely. Hey, before I let you go again, are you an NFL fan at all, or do you follow any of the NFL?
Not really. Why do you ask?
Oh, I just was wondering, because now we got a game tonight, Dallas and Tampa Bay, and that as well. I follow about 7 or 8 sports, so there's some times where it's kind of overwhelming when I'm trying to cover 7 or 8 different sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. So, Bekka, I was going to say thank you so much for coming on live with CDP here, Sports Talk here. And if you can give me about maybe 10, 15 minutes, I'll have this podcast episode downloaded to my audio version, and I can send you a copy of it if you like one as well.
Sure.
And again, I want to say thank you for coming on, and I want to wish you the best in your academics. And I will have to follow you guys when your season starts up year 2. We'll definitely keep in touch on Instagram.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Have a great day, Bekka. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, you too, Chris.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed my season 5, episode 16 today with Bekka Allick. She's a middle blocker for the University of Nebraska women's Cornhuskers volleyball team as well. Before we wrap this up, guys, I want to let you guys know the next live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Collins Chevrolet, season 5, episode 17, tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th, 2 p.m. with my guest Ben Volin. He's a senior NFL writer at the Boston Globe, American Press NFL voter, and he's covered the New England Patriots on 4 Super Bowl runs. So Ben's going to come on and talk a little bit about his career as a journalist with the Boston Globe, and also talk some NFL playoffs and the direction, the future of the 2022 New England Patriots, and the direction of the franchise as well, and possible changes with the coaching staff in the offseason. So I hope you guys can tune into season 5, episode 17 tomorrow with Ben Volin, senior NFL writer again with the Boston Globe. And we're going to talk some NFL playoffs and some New England Patriots football with him as well. Speaking of that, the NFL divisional round, Saturday, January 21st, Jacksonville at Kansas City, 4:30 on NBC, and then 8:15, the Giants and Eagles from the Link on Fox. And then on Sunday, January 22nd at 3 p.m., Cincinnati at Buffalo on CBS, and at 6:30, the Dallas-Tampa Bay winner at San Francisco as well. Speaking of football, we have football tonight, Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN TSN with Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Dallas-Tampa Bay winner, obviously, from Tampa Bay. The winner of that game will obviously go to San Francisco next Sunday night to take on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. So good luck to Tampa Bay today. I'm going to cheer. I'm going to admit this. I'm going to be cheering for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to defeat the Dallas Cowboys tonight. I think it'll be a very competitive game as well. And I'm also next week, obviously looking forward to the Eagles-Giants matchup. The Eagles have owned the Giants the last decade. They're 15-3 in their last 18 games against the Giants, 2-0 against them this year, including a 49-21 win in New York. And I look forward to it. And hopefully Lane Johnson will be healthy in that game, and Hurts, hopefully his shoulder will be feeling a little bit better as well. But I look forward to these games next weekend as well. So anyways, guys, that's about it. I'm going to wrap this up. But just 1 second, one other thing I want to do. Guys, if you want to follow the Nebraska volleyball team, you can check out huskers.com/women's volleyball. That's huskers.com/sports/women's volleyball as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And I want to say thank you to everybody on these 5 platforms for watching live with CDP Sports Talk this morning as well. And also, guys, you can check out my website, beacons.ai. That's beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. All my social media work is on that website as well. And again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210 as well. You guys can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. That's at Live with CDP on TikTok. I post a lot of my I post a lot of my media work on my TikTok videos, as well as my wrestling cards that I cover in Cambridge as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk podcast. If you're into webinars or podcasting, I would highly recommend using StreamYard as well. Live with CDP podcast. The audio version is always downloaded to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, Tuned In, and Podbean as well. And you guys can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Just type in Chris Palme or Live with CDP Sports Talk and hit the subscribe notification as well. And you guys can also follow me on LinkedIn as well under Chris Palme. I'm active there as well. And if anybody has any questions or comments about Live with CDP Sports Talk, you guys can always email me at cpalme19@gmail.com as well. And that's about it, guys. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest today, Bekka Allick, a middle blocker defender with the University of Nebraska's Cornhuskers women's volleyball team, for coming on today, season 5, episode 16 today as well. And again, guys, if you guys can give me about 5-10 minutes, I will have this podcast episode downloaded to all my audio platforms as well. Again, I hope you guys can check out the next Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, Season 5, Episode 17, tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern, with my guest again, Ben Volin, senior NFL writer at the Boston Globe. And he's also an American Press NFL voter, and he's also covered the New England Patriots for 4 Super Bowl runs. So please join me and Ben Volin tomorrow at 2 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn as well. And that's about it, guys. I want to say thank you again to Bekka Allick for coming on Live with CDP Sports Talk. Thank you to everybody for watching or listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk. I hope everybody has a great day and enjoys the Monday night football game between the Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight at 8:15 p.m. on either ESPN in the States or TSN here with Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and the winner of that game between Tampa and Dallas will travel to San Francisco next Sunday night to take on the Niners at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California as well. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern with my guest, Ben Volin from the Boston Globe. Have a great day, everybody. And again, enjoy the Buccaneers-Cowboys matchup tonight at 8:15 on ESPN/TSN as well.